In the shadowy streets of Victorian England, one man became the stuff of legend. Meet Charles Peace, burglar, murderer, and the most notorious criminal of his age. By day he was a respectable gentleman, by night England's most wanted man. His story was so captivating they put him in Madame Tussauds, and he's still there today. Our story begins in 1832. Amidst the sprawling factories and soot-stained buildings of Sheffield, England. This was a city forged in the fires of the Industrial Revolution, a place where the clang of machinery echoed through the streets, and the air hung thick with the smell of coal smoke. It was here, in this grimy, industrial heartland, that young Charlie Peace was born, entering a world dominated by the relentless rhythm of industry and the stark realities of Victorian life. A world of smoke and steel, where opportunity was scarce and hardship was commonplace. The son of a shoemaker, Charlie's early life was one of modest means, defined by the daily grind of working-class existence. He likely spent his days playing in the shadow of towering factories, witnessing firsthand the back-breaking labor that fueled the city's prosperity. But Charlie's life took a dramatic and irreversible turn during a horrific industrial accident, an event that would forever alter the course of his destiny. A devastating, crushing injury to his leg left him permanently disabled, a cruel blow that robbed him of his physical freedom and cast a long shadow over his future. In an era with limited medical advancements, the pain and limitations he endured were undoubtedly immense. This life-altering event may have also ignited a spark of resentment within him, a sense of injustice towards a society that seemed indifferent to his suffering. But Charlie Peace was not one to be defined by his misfortune. He possessed an indomitable spirit and a fierce determination to overcome adversity. Despite his pronounced limp, he embarked on a rigorous self-improvement program, transforming his weakened body into a testament to his resilience. He became an accomplished gymnast, mastering feats of strength and agility that defied his physical limitations. He also developed into a skilled climber, scaling walls and navigating treacherous terrain with remarkable ease. These skills, honed through sheer willpower and relentless practice, would later serve him well in a life far removed from the factories of Sheffield, a life shrouded in mystery and intrigue. In the heart of Victorian England, amidst the rigid social structures and burgeoning industrial revolution, a man named Charles Peace meticulously crafted the perfect cover. He presented himself as a cultured gentleman, a man of refined tastes and artistic inclinations. He played the violin with passion and skill, captivating audiences with his musical talent. He charmed high society with his wit and sophistication, gaining access to exclusive circles and earning the trust of the elite. His outward persona was one of respectability and grace, a facade carefully constructed to conceal his true nature. But beneath this respectable exterior, a darker truth lurked. Charlie Peace was a master criminal, meticulously planning the perfect crimes. He spent months, sometimes even years, surveilling wealthy homes, studying every detail of their architecture, security, and the routines of their inhabitants. He observed their comings and goings, noting the times when the houses were most vulnerable. His burglaries were not mere acts of theft, they were masterpieces of planning and execution. He possessed an uncanny ability to anticipate every obstacle, to navigate complex security systems, and to leave virtually no trace of his presence. He was a ghost in the night, a phantom thief who seemed to vanish into thin air. To further complicate matters, Peace had cultivated multiple identities, each carefully crafted with its own backstory and mannerisms. He was John Ward, the unassuming tradesman, Thomas Ward, the travelling salesman, and Mr. Thompson, the quiet gentleman. He could seamlessly transition between these personas, adapting his appearance and behavior to blend into any crowd. He was a chameleon, a master of disguise who could become anyone he needed to be. disappearing into the anonymity of the bustling Victorian streets, leaving law enforcement baffled and frustrated. The year is 1876. Picture a quiet, respectable Victorian suburb, Banner Cross in Sheffield. Within this seemingly tranquil setting, a dark obsession began to take root, one that would ultimately lead to tragedy. Here, Charles Peace, a man with a shadowy past and a penchant for trouble, became dangerously fixated on his married neighbour, Mrs. Dyson. His interest was not a passing fancy, but a deep, unsettling preoccupation. Mrs. Dyson, a respectable woman, wanted nothing to do with Peace's advances, despite her repeated rejections and clear disinterest. Peace's obsession only intensified. He began a campaign of harassment, sending threatening letters filled with disturbing prose and making unwanted advances at every opportunity. His behavior became increasingly erratic and unnerving, creating a climate of fear and unease in the neighborhood. The letters, penned in a dramatic script, hinted at a volatile and unstable mind. The situation escalated, casting a long, dark shadow over the Dyson household. On the fateful day of November 29, 1876, Arthur Dyson, a man pushed to his limits, finally decided he had had enough. He resolved to confront Peace and put an end to the torment his family was enduring. The confrontation between the two men was brief, brutal, and irrevocably deadly. Words were exchanged, tensions flared, and in a moment of uncontrolled rage, Peace pulled out his revolver, a cold, menacing piece of Victorian engineering. With a deafening bang, he fired, shooting Arthur Dyson dead. The shot echoed through the quiet streets of Banner Cross, shattering the peace and plunging the community into shock and horror. Realizing the gravity of his actions and knowing the authorities would soon be after him, Charlie Peace made a swift decision. Within hours of the shooting, he had vanished, disappearing into the labyrinthine criminal underworld of London, a place where shadows concealed secrets and identities were easily shed. He melted into the city's underbelly, becoming a ghost in the sprawling metropolis. The Sheffield police, spurred by public outrage and the desire for justice, launched a massive manhunt to bring Dyson's killer to justice. Detectives scoured the city, following every lead and questioning countless individuals. However, their quarry, the elusive Charlie Peace, was already long gone, having successfully evaded their grasp and disappeared into the murky depths of London's criminal network. The wanted posters plastered across the city seemed to have little effect, as Peace had become a master of disguise and deception. In Peckham, South London, Peace reinvented himself once again, this time as a respectable gentleman of leisure. Incredibly, he even befriended local police officers, all while continuing his criminal career. His ability to change appearance was legendary. Different hair, forged documents, complete transformations. By night, he prowled London's rooftops, committing burglary after burglary without detection. October 10th, 1878, Blackheath, South London. Peace was attempting what would be his final burglary, but this time he was caught in the act. Constable Robinson confronted the intruder, leading to a violent struggle. Peace shot and wounded the officer, but this time there was no escape. The trial at the Old Bailey was a sensation, but investigators suspected John Ward was hiding a bigger secret. When they finally connected him to the Sheffield murder, Charlie Peace's luck had run out. February 25th, 1879, Armley Jail, Leeds. Crowds gathered to witness the end of England's most notorious criminal. Charlie Peace was hanged by William Marwood, finally paying for his crimes. The public was obsessed. Newspapers, ballads, and penny dreadfuls told his story across Britain. His wax figure at Madame Tussauds drew crowds for decades, the ultimate Victorian celebrity criminal. Charlie Peace became more than a criminal. He was a symbol of Victorian society's darkest fears and fascinations. Today, over 140 years later, the legend of Charlie Peace still captivates us. Please subscribe to the channel for more true crime tales.